Ever wondered how to make a delicious coconut cake at home? Today, you're in for a treat. Our adventure begins with a simple recipe that guarantees a moist, flavorful cake topped with a creamy coconut-infused frosting. You'll need a box of your favorite white or yellow cake mix, a cup of sweetened shredded coconut, a 14-ounce can of sweetened condensed milk, and a cup of coconut milk. The frosting calls for an 8-ounce package of softened cream cheese, half a cup of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a cup of whipped topping. And if you're feeling a bit fancy, some additional shredded coconut for garnish. This cake is not just incredibly tasty, it's also perfect for any occasion, from casual gatherings to special celebrations. Now that we have our ingredients ready, it's time to move to the fun part, the preparation. First, preheat your oven according to the instructions on the cake mix box. Make sure you have greased and floured a 9x 13-inch baking dish or two 9-inch round cake pans. Alright, let's dive right in. This cake creation starts with a simple box of white or yellow cake mix, but trust me, by the time we're done, this will be anything but ordinary. So, grab your cake mix and get it ready according to the instructions listed on the box. This usually involves adding in a few extra ingredients like eggs, oil, or water. And remember, it's always best to have all your ingredients at room temperature. And now, for the star of the show, sweetened shredded coconut. This is where our cake starts to get its tropical personality. You'll need 1 cup of this, but don't worry if you go a little over. In the world of baking, there's no such thing as too much flavor. Fold this shredded coconut into your prepared cake batter. Be gentle here, you want to evenly distribute the coconut without deflating the batter. Alright, so now we have our coconut-infused cake batter. It's time to get it into our prepared baking dish or cake pans. Pour the batter in, spreading it evenly. If you're using round cake pans, try to divide the batter equally between the 2 pans. This ensures that our cake layers are of the same height. With our batter ready and poured, our next step is to bake this deliciousness. But before we move on, take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this unbaked creation. It's a blank canvas ready to be transformed into a culinary masterpiece in the heat of your oven. And remember, baking is more than just a process, it's a journey, an adventure, and every adventure is better when shared. So whether you're baking this cake for a special occasion or just because, know that the love you put into it will be tasted in every bite. So let's move on to the next part of our adventure, baking the cake. Baking is an art, and it's time to create our masterpiece. This is the moment where we bring our cake to life. It's as simple as following the instructions on the box, but remember, every oven is unique. It may take a few minutes more or less than what's written. The key is to keep a close eye on your cake. As it bakes, the kitchen fills with the delightful aroma of sweet coconut and vanilla, a tantalizing hint of what's to come. The cake rises, turns golden, and becomes a canvas for the rest of our ingredients. After the recommended baking time, do the toothpick test. Insert a toothpick into the center of the cake. If it comes out clean, your cake is baked to perfection. If not, give it a few more minutes. Once baked, remove the cake from the oven and let it cool completely. Now let's move on to the toppings. While our cake cools, let's prepare the coconut topping that will elevate our cake to another level. This topping is what takes our cake from delicious to absolutely divine. First, we're going to need a medium bowl. Into this, we'll combine a can of sweetened condensed milk and a cup of coconut milk. Give this a good whisk until it's well combined. The mixture should be smooth and pourable. Now back to our cooled cake. We're going to poke holes all over the cake. You can use the handle of a wooden spoon or a skewer for this. The idea is to create avenues for our coconut topping to seep into the cake, packing every bite with a burst of coconut goodness. Now comes the fun part. Slowly pour the milk mixture over the cake. Make sure to evenly distribute it, allowing the coconut topping to soak into the cake. With the coconut topping soaking in, it's time to make our cream cheese frosting. A cake is never complete without its frosting, so let's create a creamy, dreamy cream cheese frosting. Let's start by taking our cream cheese. Make sure it's softened, as this will ensure a smooth and creamy texture. Beat the cream cheese until it's as smooth as silk. This will form the base of our frosting. Next, we gradually add in the powdered sugar. This will sweeten our frosting and give it a light, fluffy texture. As you add the sugar, remember to keep beating the mixture to ensure everything combines perfectly. Now it's time to introduce a hint of flavor with some vanilla extract. Beat this in until it's well combined with the rest of our ingredients. This will give our frosting a subtle yet irresistible vanilla hint. Finally, fold in the whipped topping. This will make our frosting light and fluffy, just like a cloud. And there you have it. Our frosting is ready, and it's time to bring our cake to life. Now it's time to bring everything together and complete our coconut cake. We've baked, we've mixed, and now we're ready to frost. If you've chosen to use a 9 by 13 inch baking dish, spread the cream cheese frosting evenly over the top of the cake. For those using round cake pans, you're in for a treat. Carefully remove the cakes from the pans and place one layer on a serving plate. Spread a generous layer of frosting over the top of this cake layer, then place the second layer on top. Frost the top and sides of the cake with the remaining frosting. Remember to take your time with this step, ensuring a smooth and even layer of frosting. After all, the frosting is not just a topping, it's an integral part of the cake's overall flavor and texture. Now to garnish. Here's where a bit of extra shredded coconut comes into play if you so choose. Sprinkle it over the top of the frosted cake. The shredded coconut adds a delightful crunch and reinforces the coconut flavor. At the same time, it gives a beautiful snowy appearance to our cake. And there you have it, a delicious coconut cake ready to be enjoyed. But before we dive in, here's a tip on how to serve your cake. Use a sharp knife to cut the cake into slices. If you've baked your cake in a rectangular pan, square slices work well. If you've opted for the round cake pans, triangular slices are the way to go. Remember to clean your knife after each cut for neat slices. Slice and serve this delicious coconut cake and enjoy. Remember, baking is all about having fun and enjoying the process, so be sure to have a great time doing it. Whether it's a casual gathering or a special celebration, this moist and flavorful coconut cake topped with a creamy coconut-infused frosting is sure to please. So go ahead, take a bite and let the sweet tropical flavors transport you to a coconut paradise. Enjoy.